How many shots you got? I got one. You got two? You got two? You got two? Just any side effects? Oh man, it's amazing. We're just freely exchanging it all over the place. All right. Steve Grissom, I hope this comes as no shock to you, but you have our prayer today. And Alan Treadway, comes as a shock to no one that you have the pledge and four-way test. Steve Grissom.
Real quick, before I pray, I want to tell you some really exciting news. As most of you know, I work a lot with human trafficking, and that's kind of been my calling. We got a call from the governor's office, the CEO of End Slavery Tennessee, and he's asked for them to, what's our wish? And it was to find a campus. And I called someone, and we found a campus, and we've signed the deal. We've got to do some few other things to get it passed through, but it's been really great that the state of Tennessee and Governor Lee has been really behind protecting these girls. And so it's a really great opportunity. And hopefully in September, that piece of land, it's Alpha and Brick Church Pike, about 15, 20 minutes outside of downtown Nashville. And so that's one of the things I'm really proud of and really thankful for, because things have worked out like it has been a God thing from day one. And our own Skip is actually the landscape architect that's looking at everything, and he's been out there this week. So I think you were kind of amazed when you saw the property. You had no idea what we were getting into, but it is quite a blessing. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, what a beautiful day you've given us today. It's so great to start spring and to start afresh and start anew. Father, thankful that COVID and us being apart is hopefully coming to an end, and that we can all get back together again. Father, it's been missed so much by families, by us as a family of Rotary, of just being able to meet together and share and serve one another. Father, we also want to keep in mind some of our members and their family. We want to keep Bob Searcy in our prayer as he's recovering from double knee surgery. Bill McCarthy, his wife Kay, Larry Faust, Bob Bellenfont, and Robert and Dottie Fiddler, as always. Father, we just thank you for how we are able to serve one another. Thank you for Rotary. Father, I just want to thank you for the food that's been prepared for us today. And thank you for all our leaders in our country and in our club. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
All right, if you join me in the pledge to the flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the four-way test. First, second, third, and fourth.
Yeah. Loving seeing Jim here today. All right, now Jane Covington will introduce our guests and visiting Rotarians, of which there are many.
There are. We are lucky today to have quite a few guests. So I'm going to start with my own guests today. I have with me Suzanne Buchanan, who was the executive director and member of the Downtown Rotary Club, where I was a member for years before transferring to this fine club. And we also have Suzanne's daughter, Michelle LaFollette, who is shopping for a Rotary Club. Now, let me just say that Suzanne's husband is a longtime member of the Green Hills Club and now of the Downtown Nashville Club. Her son's in the downtown Nashville club. So Michelle genetically. So everyone be on your best behavior, be nice to her, and maybe she'll join us. I'm going to move to Michael Kaplan, who has a guest.
I actually have a couple guests, two that I've met from different parts of my life. We'll start with the first one, who soon here in this room will need no introduction. It's Jody Raw. We met, we worked together on Brentwood's 50th, and just an amazing person. And I think she's joining in a couple weeks. So this is Jody. And my second guest is one of my best friends. We've known each other since I was in the 7th grade. So he's a fellow unicorn, Sidney Talbert. Great. I could sit here and talk about him all day, but no, glad to have lunch with him. Glad to bring him over here to see us. And so that's one of my best friends, Sidney.
Thanks.
Anybody who can put up with 7th grade Michael Kaplan is a friend of everyone.
Let's see, Rod Freeman, where are you? There we go. Rod has a guest.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody after such a long hiatus, at least on my part. So good to see everyone. My guest today is my son, Richard. And I didn't realize Clark wasn't going to be here. I thought he was going to be here. But anyway, Rich and Clark play ball together at Vanderbilt. So we're looking forward to see what he has to say. So thank you much.
And then Jack Massari has a guest, although Jack ditched on us, I think. So Tom Panagon, are you okay? Right here. That's awfully convenient. So welcome, Tom. Let's see. And then we also have Jordan Nielsen with us. She's almost a member. So another future new Brentwood Rotarian. I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? Anybody on Zoom have a guest? I didn't see anybody, but okay.
I think we're good.
There.
All right, how about some Happy Bucks time? We have a chance. We've got a 2-week time span for which to be happy. So anybody have any Happy Bucks you want to share with the group?
Anybody have?
I want to put my happy buck in for Suzanne Buchanan. Suzanne, you were a great executive director of the downtown club. And many times when I visited, she would already have my name on a little stick on, so I was ready to go. Thank you.
Curry today.
Jared has a group of us meeting again Tuesdays. Our picnic is in front of 5 guys, and you don't want to invite Betsy because she came the other day and almost ran us over and hit the curb.
Yep, is happy. Let's find out why.
There's $2 for a couple things. The first one is 2 shots in 14 days. And the second one is just to reiterate what Steve said about the campus for the in Slavery, Tennessee. It is an absolutely stunning piece of property that they have acquired. So I'm looking forward to working on it.
Awesome.
All right, $10. I'm going to stay here for a while. I saw Bob Searcy yesterday. He ran me down in Publix. He might be online, but he looked great. He really looked great. And he said he lost some LBs. He said it was for every pound, it was like $10,000, I think he said. So he got a good deal, but he just looked good. It was just good. And so we do need to keep praying, but he's going to have some knee surgery, kind of go back on it in a couple weeks. Many of us had the flood, 10 days ago. It came up fast. I'm on the Harpeth River. This club is clean behind my house. So that's how close I am. The good news, it didn't come in my house like it did my neighbors. The bad news, it went under my house like it did 11 years ago and just took out everything, ductwork and HVAC, etc. The good news is we saw it coming about 11 o'clock and we waited out at 12 o'clock, waited out knee deep. But a lot of our neighbors are new. and they had an experience. So we were able to be a mouthpiece for them. A week later, we're sitting on Easter Sunday at the river because that's our tradition. Move our patio furniture out there and sit by the river. My nephews are playing in it. And it's just weird to know a week earlier, you know, what was it, but how water can come down. But I know a lot of people haven't. I have insurance gratefully because it's a privilege to live on the floodplain. But I'm just grateful. But at the same time, there's a lot of people in our city, you know, and some of you probably else in the club. So we want to remember.
Mark, Betsy is also happy today.
I'm happy to see so many visitors. I think this is awesome. The more folks we can bring to the club, the better in my mind. Just a quick note, Sherry Koss's husband, Cliff, had valve replacement surgery today. And evidently a lot of you have sent prayers and thoughts and cards. And she just wanted everybody to know he's doing great. He made it through fine. And she really appreciates all the love.
Tuesday, 11:30, in front of Five Guys. We have a picnic. I don't want to exclude anybody, but you're all invited. Bring a chair and buy your own lunch, of course. But we have a great time. Come join us. Tuesday, 11:30.
I went for the first time this last Tuesday, and it was very fun. Fun to just hang out with everybody on a different day of the week. Lots of camaraderie and jokes, of course. So come on out. Anybody else happy? I think
How about a Zoom Happy Bucks?
Zoom happy buck.
Yeah, this is Bill McCarthy. I got two. One is I want to thank Rotarians and other people for their prayers and cards and emails regarding Kay. She's making much progress. We had some of the prior emergency surgery and in fact going to graduate to outpatient therapy next week instead of been home. So thanks for all of that. Secondly, I haven't been on in a couple of weeks and I wanted to express Irene and my appreciation for Rotary Happy Bucks response into Roger Wheelwright's Memorial Flagpole. Tremendous response, and we thank you all.
Any other Zoomers before we move on? All right. On that note, I'm glad that Bill mentioned that. Sorry, one quick correction. Bob Searcy, from what I understand, Bob actually had double knee replacement a while back, but he's having tune-ups on those knees one at a time now. So I didn't want y'all to think he was having another replacement if y'all knew that he had that one before. Bill mentioned Roger Wheelwright. I want to read a letter, an invitation that has been given to us from Irene, his wife. This is actually from Bill, forwarded from Bill. Irene asked me to make the following information announcement regarding Roger's services to the members of our Rotary Club. I suspect that some of his many Rotary friends would like to attend if travel at that time permits. Irene says, to my husband's friends at Brentwood Noon Rotary, I would like to invite you to Roger's services on the 14th of July, 2021 at 0900 hours at Arlington National Cemetery. The services consist of I do not know how to pronounce this word and y'all will crucify me for it, but caisson, riderless horse, 3-person firing team, graveside service with chaplain, taps, and flag folding. Following the service, we will have a reception at the exhibition gallery of the Military Women's Memorial. I, Irene, am also a member and a U.S. Army officer. She's a retired colonel, I believe. That facility is next to Arlington Cemetery, catered with formal seating. Please let me know as soon as you can if you plan to attend and how many in your party, as I need to give numbers and names to Arlington. So we've all been officially invited to a full military honor funeral at Arlington National Cemetery. If you would like more information, if you do want to attend that, please let me know and I will get that information to you. Also, as Betsy mentioned, Sherry texted me this morning and said that Cliff's procedure went well, but she definitely does appreciate prayers for speedy recovery from that procedure. I have a lot of things to read today. So the next thing that I'm going to read, as you know, we have a golf tournament each year, and we are raising more and more funds to give out to worthy organizations in our community. We have received several letters of thanks from those organizations that have received funds from us, and I thought I would start reading one each week, just so that you're aware that we are definitely being appreciated in the community. This one is from Saddle Up. On behalf of Saddle Up, I offer my deep appreciation for the recent gift proceeds from the 2020 Golf Classic for general operating support. Saddle Up is dedicated to delivering long-term impact for youth with disabilities through therapeutic, educational, and recreational activities with horses. Your $10,000 gift assists us with caring for our horses, maintaining our 34-acre farm, supporting our 6 programs, our physical, occupational, and speech therapy services, our school-based equine assisted living learning program, our Saddle Up Equestrian Club, our interactive vaulting program, and alumni transitions program. Because of the essential support of friends like you, our riders aged 2 to 24 will continue to build their social, emotional, cognitive, and physical abilities through transformational experiences with horses. Thank you, sincerely, Lori Cush, Executive Director. Sometimes I can speak. So that's from Saddle Up. We'll read the others as we have time and weeks down the road. I do have another announcement that I want to get to. Ann Dunn, on behalf of the Brentwood Historic Commission, has written this invitation. I'm contacting each of you, this is to a group of people, as presidents of your respective organizations in regard to members of your club participating in an adult history bowl sponsored by the Brentwood Historic Commission. We've held one for students for 11 years and always hear that the adults say they knew the answers too. We thought it would be really fun to get some folks from the local civic clubs, history buffs, to be contestants in an adult bowl. I've included an attachment with all the details that you can share with your members. I will share that to those who are interested. It explains everything in great detail. The questions will be easier than the ones the students get. I had the same reaction. Yeah, I know. The questions will be easier than the ones the students get. And the format is set so no club member has to carry his team alone. We don't want a gotcha event, but a really good time. So if you would like to participate, they're asking for responses by May the 1st. If you feel like you know all there is to know about history, or perhaps you just lived it all, please let me know that you might be interested in participating in the History Bowl. The date of that History Bowl is not until August. It's August the 8th, and it's on a Sunday. But we do need to know if we are willing to field a team by May 1st. All right. On that note, speaking of History Bowl questions, anybody know what time it is? That's right. It's trivia time. I could have sworn that the immediate reaction was something more like, oh, but I know that's not true. I know it's not true. So as a reminder, we have not done this in a while. As a reminder, there are 2 teams here. There's the in-person team and there's the Zoom team. It may not be even numbers, but the Zoom team does have ready access to their computers. Let's not tell them that we all have phones in this room. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to ask the people in the room a question. You get a discretionary amount of time to answer the question. If you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, we're going to go to the Zoom team and see if they can get it right. And we'll go through the questions and we'll see who has the winning total when we're all said and done. I keep looking up there. That's not the camera. That's the camera. Hi. All right. Question number 1 for those in the room. Zoomers, you keep quiet. Those in the room. Since our History Bowl coming up is American history, I thought we'd do anti-American trivia. It's not really. Wow, you guys are really awful today. It's not really anti-American trivia. It's just got a little more global flair to it, all right? It's not anti-American. All right, if you dig a hole through the center of the earth, starting from Wellington, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand, dig a hole, just like your 7th grade self always wanted to do, Michael Kaplan. Through the center of the earth, what European country will you come up in? I really want to know what the Google searches are looking like right now. Okay, we have one answer for Norway. That's a good answer. Oh, Alan Treadway. Belgium. Belgium's getting warmer. All right, those are both incorrect. Anybody on Zoom want to take a shot at this? Of course, Jason Hulse wants to take a shot at this. Jason, what do you got?
Spain.
You are correct. Man. Spain is the correct answer. All right. Zoom, we may disqualify Jason from future tests. Zoom participants, this is only for those on Zoom. Don't answer out loud here. Please let Jason answer. Henry VIII introduced a tax on what in England in 1535? What was the tax on that Henry VIII issued in England in 1535? Sarah?
Beard.
I'm sorry,
Beard.
what was that answer?
The beards. Beard tax.
Beards. Ladies and gentlemen, he taxed beards. That is correct. All right, 2 points for Zoom, 0 for the in the room guests. All right, here we go. This is your comeback time. In which country are there 6 villages named Silly, 12 called Billy, and 2 known as Pratt? In which country are there villages named Silly, Billy, and Pratt? Go. I didn't hear that answer. I only hear correct answers. Let's see. Oh, I heard it. Betsy wins that one with the answer of France. France has villages called Silly, Billy, and Pratt. All right. Zoom. Zoom. All right, you got to be really careful reading your Google answers to this question. The United Kingdom's Dyslexia Research Trust is based in which British city? Which British city calls itself home to the UK's Dyslexia Research Trust, or Dyslexia Research CERT? 5.
Bristol.
4. Oh, Jason has his hands up. All right, go, Jason.
Bristol.
Say it again.
Bristol.
Bristol was his
Bristol.
answer. I'm sorry, Jason. The correct answer
It's reading.
is reading. Reading is the correct answer. You got to read in the whole irony to these questions. Reading. England is the home to UK's Dyslexia Research Trust. All right. People in the room, which
Then
European...
Google's wrong.
Ouch. Those who are in person, which European country has 158 verses to its national anthem? European country, 158 verses to its official national anthem. What country? It is the word, so to speak. It's the word. This country is the word. How? There we go. Greece. Yes. Very good. Okay. Zoom. I think we're tied. Who knows? We're going to say we're tied. Zoom. Actually, I think you're ahead just a little bit. Which country on Zoom has the most tornadoes by area? So the most tornadoes per square mile or per square kilometer is which country? All the globe. Anyone? Okay, Sarah Johnson.
Netherlands.
Netherlands would be a great answer. It very well may be the correct answer. It is not, however, the correct answer on my sheet. So I'm going to say no. In the room, do you have an answer? United States would be a good answer, but it is also incorrect. The correct answer, we think, maybe, possibly, is England. All right. So regardless of what the score is right now, we're tied, which means this is our tiebreaker question. And the first person to say their name out loud gets to answer. First person to say their name out loud. Everybody on Zoom, unmute. This is going to be interesting. All right. The leader of this country put his face on every single yogurt pot in the country, named the month of January after himself in this country, and banned ballet in this country. What is the name of this country? It's all on the line right here, folks. Sudden death overtime. Oh, Jason. Jason's hand is up. I'm going to count that as your name. Go ahead, Jason.
Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan is correct. Woo! All right. I knew I was going to be thankful that I made that $1,000 bet 20 years ago that I could work Turkmenistan into a Rotary meeting. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is all of the delay. Yes, yes. With no further ado, it is my pleasure to call up here Hunter McCarty to introduce our speaker today. That's right. I had to say the name Hunter McCarty and Bill McCarthy today, and I said them both correctly. Yay me. All right, Hunter, introduce our speaker for us.
I hope we got Clark on. I hope. Man, it's good. We're good to go. All right. Most of you may have read the bio on Clark. I'll just give you some highlights. And most of those are recent highlights because he was with Notre Dame, obviously, and they were the people that were in the championship game this past year. But I do also want to mention that this is an interesting time for Vanderbilt athletics, as many of you know that this week they announced a large $300 million commitment to athletic facilities, and most of those will be involving with the athletes themselves. So it's an interesting time for the history of Vanderbilt in all sports, but also with football. So with that being said, we want to get started as quick as we can. I just want to mention Clark, of course, will be his first season coming up, the 2021 season as head coach of the Vanderbilt football program. He'll be the 29th head coach in December when he was hired. And as a Vanderbilt alumni, he brings in his background and knowledge about Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt's history. He arrived in Nashville after serving as Notre Dame's defensive coordinator from 2018 to 2020. He returns to Music City having coached in 9 bowl games, including 2 college football playoffs appearances since 2018. And then while at Notre Dame, Lee modeled a defense that led the Fighting Irish to an appearance in the 2020 ACC championship game by finishing the regular season 10-0 and a number 2 national ranking. In the final game of 2020, the Fighting Irish held Alabama to 31 points in the Rose Bowl, marking the Crimson Tide's lowest point total of the season and more than 2 touchdowns below its 11-game average of 49.7 points per game. It was also Alabama's lowest points total since the national title game on January 7th of 2019 when it lost 44-16 to Clemson. Clark's had stints at Wake Forest, Syracuse, and Bowling Green and other schools. He's a Nashville native. He began his college career playing baseball actually at Birmingham Southern, leading the club to the NAIA championship as a freshman year. He then transferred to Belmont to play baseball in 2002 before finishing his career at Vanderbilt playing fullback during the last 2 years of his eligibility. Lee began as a walk-on before earning a scholarship at the Commodores, and he earned both his undergraduate degree in 2004 and his graduate degree in 2007 from Vanderbilt in political science. It's my pleasure to welcome Clark Lee as our guest today.
Well, yeah, thank you for that kind introduction. And geez, I'm honored to be with you guys. I don't know how I feel about following up trivia time. That's a tall task, but I'll do my best to be as engaging and as enthralling as that was. First of all, I again thank you for having me. I'm honored to be the head coach at Vanderbilt. I'm privileged to be a part of this community. I think so much of what we're attempting to do within this program is the same thing that you guys do as part of your Rotary Club, and that's establish community and service, and understand that, you know, we occupy this space and time, but we're in search of a way of doing things, of operating that allows for sustained success and hopefully leaves these spaces better than we found them. And I hope over time, you know, as we grow within this program, that that we'll establish a product here that all of you can get behind. Because to me, I'm a parent of young children. I've got an 8-year-old son, C3, a 5-year-old daughter, Mara, and a 3-year-old son, baby Jack, who will always be baby Jack because he will be the last. But you know, I want to establish a program here that all 3 of my kids can look up to as a model for not just how to compete and play and be tough, but also how to function in a first-class manner. I mean, we believe in humility and modesty here. We believe in giving before you receive, and those are core tenets of our program. And I hope that what you find as we grow again in this program is that you have a place that you feel like you can relate to, that you feel like is representative of the same values that you hold near and dear. That if you have children, you can point to this team and this program as a model for how to behave, how to reach for excellence. And if you can do that, then I'm doing my job. But I want to welcome you into our community too, and I want to ask you and invite you to be a part of this team, because ultimately for me, I would love to see Vanderbilt become Nashville's team as well. And I know we have a lot to do to earn that level of respect and appreciation within our city, but that's what we're hard at work doing now. So with that, what I wanted to talk to you about was just kind of some of the ground level, like foundational aspects of our program, the things we're working on right now in the early stages of building this program, and you know, then obviously open up for questions if there are any. But the starting point for me in taking this job, and I'm obviously intimately familiar with both Nashville and Vanderbilt, having grown up here and obviously been a football player here. This was first about creating a winning environment, having a winning mindset permeate the program at every turn. And part of that for me was an intentional disconnect from our program's history. And that's not to say I'm a part of that history. So it's a little, you know, maybe sounds a little awkward for me to say that, but you know, I want this is about pushing Vanderbilt football to its potential. So I wanted this program to be able to breathe anew and not be burdened by you know, results from the past. So you know, we stripped every graphic off the wall. We pulled down every remnant of the program as it was, put a fresh coat of paint everywhere, and started to talk about the program as it is to be. You know, I hired pretty much an entirely new staff. I retained one coach on staff. That's Javon Hay. He was a captain here when I played. He was my captain, and I know Javon's heartbeat and his passion for Vanderbilt. And it was important for me to have him on board. But I wanted the offices to be filled with new faces, with new perspective. I wanted to make sure that we had no one here that was going to cling on to the remnants, cling on to the things of the past that held the program back. I didn't want people that could, you know, communicate all the cracks in the cup or communicate all the things that have been hindrances to the success of the program. I didn't want anyone who was going to tell me about how we needed a program to be relevant in the SEC, or excuse me, a facility to be relevant in the SEC. You know, those are things to me that right now in this moment are out of my control. You know, what I wanted to do was fill this building with people that saw the vision, believed in the vision, were aligned with the vision, and understand the potential of Vanderbilt football as it pertains to the landscape of the student athlete experience. And so we've set out to create the best student athlete experience in the country, and that will take time, but that is our driving force. That is what we are aiming to do, and we're excited to do that. And the starting point for us, and the thing that we start every meeting talking about, is that we're going to be the best mentally and physically conditioned team in the country. And so we're very intentional about that. Best mentally, best physically conditioned team. Both are things we control. We talk about the two planes that football is played on. One is strategic, it's matchup driven. It's about how you get your best players the ball in space, how you get them matched up on people that they can win one-on-ones against. It's how you create advantages in the run game, and so on and so forth. That's an important aspect of the game, and you practice that during designated periods during the year. So we have 15 spring practices. We have a scrimmage tonight. This will be practice 11 for us. You know, this is a moment that the NCAA allows us to develop those strategies. And then obviously in the fall, during fall camp and during the season, we'll be building this team, you know, once again on the field. But every other day that we have together, we have a chance to establish a level of mental conditioning. And for us, that's a 365-day-a-year obligation or responsibility that we're going to hone in on the mindset it takes to win at a high level. And the foundational element, if I asked my team right now, what's the foundational element of mental conditioning, they would tell me attitude. Now, I don't want this to sound too like Mickey Mouse, but you know, for us, if we don't have the right attitude when we enter this building, we don't have a chance. So what is attitude? Attitude is the lens through which you view your experience. And the idea is that two people can go through the same thing. One who has the right attitude, who finds the silver linings in whatever adversity they're facing. The other who finds a way to shift blame and never fully take responsibility for results. One of those two who understands the silver lining and the lesson embedded in adversity will evolve into the person they're meant to be through that adversity. The other will be victimized and will never reach their potential. So we think attitude is the single most important thing that we will deal with. Attitude is the fundamental building block of mental conditioning. Mental controls the physical, and so if we can get the attitude right, then within the boundaries of practice, we're able to push this team to a higher level each and every day. And ultimately, you know, our success on the field in the fall is about the aggregate of our choices in the present. So, you know, I get asked a lot about how are you going to win at Vanderbilt, and how are you any different than anybody else, you know? And I get that, and in a lot of ways I'm not any different than anyone else. I don't view myself as that important, nor do I have all the answers. I'm in search of the answers, and I'm in search of a better way of doing things every single day. But what I do know is I'm up for the challenge, and I'm up for the work, and that if we can find a way to move the needle today and be a little better today than we were yesterday, if we can design systems of development here that allow ourselves to grow each and every day that we invest, that I know we'll be better tomorrow than we are at this moment. And I know by the time we reach the fall, we'll be even more evolved than we are in this moment. And I think that opens up opportunity to always be working through a progression towards success. So that's the starting point. Best mentally, best physically conditioned team in the country. Everything that we do as a program centers on those two things. And from there, you know, we have a mission statement as a staff and really as a program. But this is a mission statement that we use to kind of tether our vision together, and to make sure everyone's on the same page. And it's really a statement of who we are. We are a comprehensive, integrated system for developing men through the game of football. So comprehensive, meaning broad. We have a lot of resources here. We have over 40 people on our staff, meaning that's both coaches and support staff. We have a mental performance coach. We have a director of player development. We have a nutritionist, all within under the umbrella of the football staff. These people have very specific roles because we believe development is to be holistic. So it's not just about how we grow our guys as football players, but actually as how we grow them as men, so that they can grow into, again, great husbands, great fathers, and great contributors to communities once they're finished with football. We say there are no backup plans at Vanderbilt. Like we don't view Vanderbilt as, you know, an athlete's backup plan, meaning if I don't make the NFL, I have a backup plan for what to do next. Like we believe that we're into launching points. So we say what Vanderbilt provides is a launching point that when you're through with your football career, you're ready to launch into a level of impact in whatever awaits you or whatever your passion drives you towards next. Now that's part of the ethos of our program. So comprehensive, broad. We have a lot of resources here within this staff that are behind the development of the program, but comprehensive has to be integrated. So we have to be together. The full force of those resources have to be aligned in support of our team. And that requires incredible systems for communication. It requires opportunities to grow together as a staff, meaning staff building, interpersonal connectors. We talk a lot about heartbeats and habits here. So, we want to know each other's backgrounds. We want to know each other's families. We want to know the passion behind everyone's purpose in coaching. One thing that's held Vanderbilt back over the past 7 years is staff turnover. And so it was really important for me to take my time in building a staff in hopes that we can do the best job that we can in retaining that staff as we go. And that level of alignment and continuity, I think, goes a long way in providing an experience for a staff member that is welcomed, is appreciated. So comprehensive, broad, integrated together. It's a system for developing men. Again, that's that concept of a holistic development. And the vehicle for that development is the game of football. So we believe that football is important. We believe that football, when approached the right way, can be an incredible, workshop for learning life lessons, life values. But it takes intention and purpose in pointing out those lessons and values and building those into the experience. So that's the mission statement. Again, comprehensive, integrated system for developing men through the game of football. That's who we are as a program. The vision for the program is centered on this idea that we're going to recruit, retain, and develop a roster, right, that wins at the highest level, but embodies the excellence that defines Vanderbilt University. So recruit, retain, and develop a roster that wins at the highest level while embodying the excellence that defines Vanderbilt University. And we don't see those things as mutually exclusive. In fact, we think that recruiting within the niche that Vanderbilt has, recruiting a Vanderbilt fit here delivers a high-reaching, high-achieving young person who doesn't want to make any compromises in their lives. We are trying to be distinctly us, uniquely Vanderbilt, and use that as a filtration system to make sure the people that we allow in our doors are all kind of tied or stitched with the same fabric, right? We want these people to have a mindset that's geared towards NFL performance on the football field. Football has to be important. You won't make it in this program if football's not important. And yet, complementary to that, they understand the significance of earning an elite education, which is available to them here. But the environment itself isn't just about getting a degree. The environment, the high standards and expectations of this program, what we say is that we have the highest operating standards in college football. within this program. That demands of our players to engage in their education. So what we say is what you invest here in your education will multiply over a lifetime. But we make it really clear to everyone that, if you come here and put forth half-hearted effort on campus, that no general manager wants to draft a player that allows half-hearted performance in any area of their life, and no CEO is going to hire a half-hearted employee. So it's very important to us that there's investment and engagement within that education. And in doing that, in 10 and 20 years, I'll have conversations with players on this team, and they'll tell me that was the single most impactful aspect of being a part of the team, because they'll reap the benefits of having been a part of our program and graduating from this university. What I've noticed, what I've observed from my seat as an alum and a supporter of the program, but also, having been a part of a lot of other college football programs over my career, is that there's a layer of bitterness that exists with some of our football alums. And I think a lot of that has to do with the manner in which guys are recruited to Vanderbilt. They're recruited to Vanderbilt on this belief that, maybe they're going to play early, maybe it's, they're going to be an All-American because of their, time on the field, and they're going to reach the NFL. And then they have this backup plan and an education that will take care of them long term. And I'm being purposeful there in how I'm expressing that the education will take care of them long term. And what happens is, for most of our players, they're not going to be All-Americans, obviously, because that's really hard to do, right? There's a select few, and hopefully that number grows as we build our recruiting footprint. But it's hard. It's hard for every college football player in the country to earn a level of productivity that allows for that award. Certainly, it's hard for guys to go to the NFL. And so once you disconnect from those two dreams or those two goals, you're left at least with the experience of having been a part of a team. Well, this team has lost too much in its past. And so that becomes empty and not a connector. So then you're left with this idea that at least the education will take care of me, but the world is hard. And if you haven't invested while you're here, if you haven't taken the time to engage on this campus, you're going to be left with a hollow experience. And the degree is going to maybe open some doors, but ultimately, we know that that's not what's important. It's the habits, the winning habits you develop in pursuit of your personal excellence that carries you into success long term. And so all that said, those are some of the core components in recruiting to this program. We want to identify Vanderbilt fits. We want to get them to our campus, and we want to allow them to thrive here, again, in the highest operating standards for any program in the country. But what we're looking for specifically is the raw material that we think allows us to develop our players in the NFL to NFL futures. And so we talk about that in recruiting all the time, that this should be a football decision for those players and not just a decision about going to a great school, that we want them to know that the best systems of development exist here. And that's again, that idea that we have a comprehensive spectrum of resources that are integrated and behind the development of the players. So that's kind of our recruiting mindset. We recruit, we may recruit length, we may recruit frames, we will certainly recruit speed, but we know that part of our mission isn't to win in the off season according to 24/7 or Rivals, what they say about who's good and who's not. Like, we're finding the traits that we can take and grow within this program that have high ceilings, that we feel like through our processes for development, we can push towards an NFL future. And I staffed this coaching staff not in the mind of talent acquisition. I think a lot of the coaching staffs in the conference are built through modes of talent acquisition, which means they're hired to go out and win recruiting battles, because most programs in our league are fighting for relevance in these message board world where recruiting rankings become important. We recruit all personalities. So all the guys in this building, and men and women, have the strength of personality to build authentic relationships, to sell the vision of this program. But the coaches that are here, the football coaches that are here, were hired because there's an expertise, there's an ability to be adaptable, so that we can see the need here and fill the need, whether that's fundamental technical, whether that's schematic and strategic. They're smart, and then they're great. There's a level of fundamental technical progression that allows for the development of the roster. So that's how we staffed the program, was this mind that we're going to recruit Vanderbilt fits that have the raw material that we can grow into NFL talent. That requires a staff that's designed to develop the talent as we go. We talk about retaining the roster, which is going to be of particular importance as we head into a world of name, image, likeness, and one-time transfer waivers. Retaining our rosters about having a positive coaching environment. So we're demanding but not demeaning here. We believe high standards and high expectations are what's desired by the level of people that we're introducing into this program. And yet we can dive deep in relationships and be interpersonal and let our guards down as coaches, because our operating standards ensure that the guys that are in this program want to be here. So I never walk into a room and question commitment level from a team. And that may sound interesting coming from someone who took over a team that essentially, opted out of the season last year. I mean, it was a tough time as a Vanderbilt alum and a Vanderbilt fan. But again, once you get the environment right, once you have those operating standards in place, guys opt in every single day. You make it hard enough to where they have to make the choice to be here every single day. And through that process, you're delivered a team that is so tight and is so connected that it pushes through the adversity that inevitably awaits every team in the country once we go to work in the fall. So recruit, retain, develop are the core tenets of our outfit, and those are the things to us. That process, and we talk about a recruiting flywheel here, where we find a Vanderbilt fit, we drop it into the highest possible operating standards. We surround this player with systems of development that move him forward in his game, develop that raw material. That'll deliver us a competitive team that wins at the highest level, which means we'll then graduate players that are proud of their experience, which will open up further opportunities for us to recruit Vanderbilt fits. And we know that building on this flywheel, the start of the turn is slow and takes a lot of work and effort. But once you get it turning and you stay disciplined and patient as you get it turning, that ultimately the momentum will end up being self-driving. And we think that will ultimately shape this program into something that we can all be proud of in a short amount of time. Lastly, I just want to share with you 3 things that we've kind of centered the conversation on with our team, to give you a glimpse into what our language is like, or what this environment that we're building is all about. The first is respect and appreciation, and I think this particular kind of core concept is relatable for a Rotary club. I mean, this is about, first of all, perception. So we talk about the fact that each individual in this program is representative of this program. And so for us, to understand that we're responsible for the perception of this program on this campus. And that's a really important, because if Vanderbilt football is going to be as good as it can possibly be, there is a successful marriage between Vanderbilt football and Vanderbilt University, that we're delivering people to that campus that are hardworking, that are respectful, and that understand the responsibility of being in a tight-knit, small community. That's critically important for us. All right. But not only that, there's this internal perception that a lot of times drives our attitude. So for us, it's this, how do we view ourselves? And for too long, we've allowed outside forces to define the value that is being part of Vanderbilt football. And that is where we've drawn a line and said, not anymore. The only people that get to place value on Vanderbilt football are those of us that are in this building. And in doing that, we take ownership of the fact that to drive the value up, it's about what we're willing to invest in and what we're willing to sacrifice for. And that's it. So if we do the work, if we invest and we sacrifice for this program, then the value of our program skyrockets. And we'll grow to a point where everyone will want to be involved, but it'll be special to us. We will only be the ones that truly understand the spirit of the program. So perception is an important talking point for us. We speak about leaving this program better than we found it. The idea that when you learn to work for yourself, you can get so far in life, you're a lot of times externally motivated as a competitor. When you learn to work for your teammate, you can be more of an intrinsically motivated competitor. You learn that that the work we do ourselves, what I do for myself, I do for others. What I do for others, I do for myself. And yet, if you learn to work for those that you don't know, now you start to understand legacy. And so for us, that's a huge part of where this program goes, is building into the legacy of Vanderbilt football. And with that, I'd love to open up questions. Hopefully that gives you a picture of what we do here and what the starting point has been for us in this journey.
All right, thank you, Coach Lee. We do have just a couple of really brief questions. The first one I've got is, would you ever, Vanderbilt was groundbreaking last year, would you ever consider having a female on your team?
I'm looking simply for the best performers. So, I want to make sure that every position is filled with people that allow us to be competitive and successful at the highest possible level. And so that's the standard for us for fielding this team.
And were you aware of the improvement plan before taking the job? Excuse me. If not, was that a commitment you needed from admin before coming?
I was aware of the plans that were in the works. And, look, I care about this program. This program delivered me to this moment. So I didn't need to know that it was there, but I love to know that it was there, because it's going to allow us to push this program to a level of sustained success that we need.
What can you learn from comparable schools like Stanford and Northwestern who've had some football success?
Every place is unique, right? We're in a different league than those two schools, which I think makes our challenge a little different. But we're also located within a 5-hour radius of the best football in America is played within a 5-hour radius of our campus. And the population explosion here in Middle Tennessee specifically gives us a recruiting footprint that I think both those schools would be excited to have. So what we have to do is make sure that the players that are in our footprint that are going to those programs, that we give them every reason to stay close to home and play here. And from there, let's go win some battles against some of our SEC competitors for guys that look for an experience that's substantive, that they understand the value of this education, and they come to believe in the opportunities for development here at Vanderbilt. Once we do that, I think we can reach a level of success that'll be comparable to what Stanford and Northwestern have been able to achieve.
Any other questions from the crowd? Got one.
Clark, this is Richard Freeman. I just wanted to ask you, what did you learn during your time at Vanderbilt that you think has prepared you for this time right now as a head coach?
Well, first of all, Richard, great to hear from you. I think that you're always observing, and we were here at a time that was lean on wins, so that was frustrating. I felt like the culture of the first team that I was a part of here in 2002 was particularly sick, meaning it was probably the worst team that I've been a part of, not just in terms of performance, but also just in terms of environment. And what we got to experience was Coach Johnson methodically plod through and rebuild this program. And it just took a long time, but it culminated in that 2008 bowl win. And I think through the middle of his tenure here, he really figured out the recruiting piece. And so a lot of, coming into this, a lot of the recruiting thoughts, meaning like this developmental aspect of our program, some of our best players, Earl Bennett is on our staff here. He was a recruit from Birmingham. Jordan Matthews, who's here every day, from North Alabama. That these guys, weren't the most highly touted, but they had the raw material to develop. Coach Johnson really had a grip on that. I think he filled a team that was talented, and I think Coach Franklin came in and injected some energy into it and some competitive fire to it. But I also think there were some short-term decisions made there over that 3-year span that may have harmed the program's ability to sustain the success that Coach Franklin had. And so we're looking to combine. So as a player, I witnessed it probably at its lowest point. Learned a lot from watching Coach Johnson kind of methodically work through the early stages of rebuild. And as an observer, an alum, and a supporter, I've studied it from afar. And so, I feel pretty strongly about the fact that the past can inform our direction here. And a lot of it's just staying disciplined and staying committed to our process.
Awesome. Well, excellent presentation and excellent answers to some questions. We really do appreciate your time, Coach Lee. Thank you for joining us today. And we wish you the greatest of success in your career at Vanderbilt.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for the time. And please, be around, and we'd love to have you in the stadium this fall. So thank you so much.
Sign me up. I drank the Kool-Aid. Let's do it. Okay, so just a couple of quick announcements before we take off. If you are interested in attending our dear friend Roger's funeral in Washington, D.C., please let me know. And if you are interested in having a fun American History Trivia Bowl team, please let me know. Please be mindful of our prayer concern list. Get vaccinated if you're able. Stay safe, be healthy, and keep serving. You are adjourned.